Hello, welcome to In the Light. Today, we're lightening the mood by talking about something that has taken quarantine America by storm, and that is dun dun dun, the Tiger King.
Dun, 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 dun,
I'm here with
dun,
In the
dun,
Light
dun.
favorite, Kelsi Fay. Hello, Kelsi.
Hey, what's up, you guys?
Kelsi's coming to us live from her bed, and I'm coming to you live from my bed. It's a bed podcast.
And our furry companions are
Yes,
with us.
you've got your cat, and I've got my dog on my bed. I'm hoping she's not going to bark during this because she finds people who walk by the house to be intrusive to her life.
Oh, of course. She's the
And then she
neighborhood
barks,
terror.
right? Then she barks, and then they leave, so she thinks she's done her job. Like,
Yeah,
leave
I
alone.
was I was in a lesson the other day, Alexander Technique, and I was laying on the ground, and it's a filmed lesson because we're all on Zoom University now. And my cat was on my bed, and then all of a sudden he jumps on me as I'm in the middle of class laying on the ground, and my professor goes, "Did your cat just jump on you?" And I'm like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
because he's a little jerk."
Well, he just wanted to be a part of it.
He did, but anyway, bottom line, animals can be annoying, but we love them.
Yes, we do. We are both animal lovers. And I got to tell you, I heard about this Tiger King. I'd like to say fiasco, entertaining fiasco, if you will.
Underground ring, if you
Yes,
will.
yes, from Jordan Heron.
Oh, really? Mr. Heron got
Yes,
you onto it?
yes, and he is Mr. Reality TV nowadays. So he said you got to watch this. So I thought, okay, I'll give it a shot. So I watched that first episode, and man, Kelsi, what a
Hook,
train
line, and
line
sinker.
and what a train wreck,
I know.
right?
I know.
And I gotta say that there's a couple different parts to this. If you haven't seen the show, there will be some spoilers in this episode of In the Light,
Oh, oh yeah.
because you can't talk about this show and not talk about the spoilers in it.
Mm.
So for those of you who haven't watched it, it's I don't even know how to describe it, Kelsi. It's this guy. It surrounds this guy. Uh,
Joe
what?
Exotic.
Yeah, Joe Exotic, and he in the beginning, I think he had good intentions in the beginning, don't you?
Uh,
Right? No?
I think okay, I think he thinks he's not in the wrong, for sure.
Well, yeah, now, but I think like in the very beginning, I think he really did want to create a tiger like preserve. I think that in a way.
I guess so, but he said he had 237 tigers. Isn't that a bit of an overkill? I mean, that's like overpopulation. Like you can't
Oh,
take care of all those.
yeah, for sure. But I do think that he kind of meant it in a good way in the beginning. And then as he started to get more popular and as the money started kind of rolling in,
Yeah.
I think the money corrupted him and all the participants in this thing.
Well, yeah, you have that cub petting going on, and if you don't know what cub petting is, it's a lot of us have been fallen like victim to it. I feel like because it's I've been a part of it not with cubs, but with a baby bear. I got to pet a baby bear and feed it Cheerios or whatever we fed it. But it's when these people that raise these exotic animals, they get cubs or like just baby versions of the animals, and they let the public in to hold them, to pet them, and take pictures with them. And it's actually a very dangerous thing to do because although it's a cub, it's still an exotic animal, and also it's not fair to that animal, and it's just wrong. And
And then when they grow out of their usefulness, because they only can be these cuddly little cubs for so
right,
long, and once they get old enough to injure someone or not be able to hold them, then they can be put down.
right. And there's been talk that a lot that Joe Exotic does it, that Doc Antle does it. Doc Antle, by the way, nobody wants to talk about Doc Antle, but I think he's the real villain in all of this.
Oh, I totally want to talk about that guy because let me say that his I don't what do you call it's like a cult.
Oh no, he has a polygamous cult. And he's not only that, but he's sex trafficking young girls.
It's awful. Yeah, he really, to me, he was a huge villain in the whole thing.
Yes, and it's at the very end, again, spoiler alert, but there's a thing that comes on the screen that says his place was raided in
Yes,
December.
as it
Which,
should have been.
right,
I mean, they're all guilty of some misdeed, and they're all guilty of um, some sort of crime.
yes. So backing up, if we're describing what Tiger King is to someone that doesn't know it, it's you have this underground ring basically because nobody knew about it. Nobody knew about it. That these
I had no
people,
idea.
right, these people have private zoos or sanctuaries, as Carol Baskin likes to say, because she's not altogether innocent either. Let's put that
Oh,
out there. That like have these people working for them. That's basically a polygamous cult, with the exception of Carol Baskin. But she might be the dirtiest of them all because she has this like volunteer program where she doesn't pay her workers, and you have to work for 5 years to even like be in contact with any of the tigers.
it's
And
interesting, that whole shirt thing. She says, "Oh, after so long, you get to wear a blue shirt, and then you get to do these kind of manual tasks, and then after
right,
this amount of time, you get to wear a burgundy shirt." Yeah, and you're
right.
right. After 5 years, you can finally come in contact with the animals.
And that's just messed up to me because you're doing this all for free. So she's taking all the profits that she's making and she's just what, keeping it, hoarding it?
Yeah.
I don't
But
know.
under the
And
under the guise though, under the guise of saving these animals in a preserve, and I don't believe that's what she's doing.
no, neither do I. And at least you have like someone as crazy as Joe Exotic is. He's taking these ex-convicts and these people really down on their luck and giving them, yes, a bad place to stay, but a place to stay. And he's paying them, although not a lot, as we see in the documentary, that they only get 100 a week, which is not livable. Um, but he's giving people a chance, and it seems like they even talk about they're like a family of misfits.
Oh, I the whole time I was thinking the island of misfit toys
Right.
for all of
Yeah.
these people. And the other problem that occurred during the documentary was the fact of the drugs. Then all of a sudden, meth got brought in. These poor people don't have any teeth. The meth has just messed them up.
Yeah.
So, add the drugs into it, and then we've got an issue. Oh, my dog has something to say.
She
Someone's
says
walking by.
though
That's
Joe Exotic is crazy. That's what she's saying.
Yeah, she is saying that. Yeah, it was just, and it just kept continuing to be a huge train wreck that you couldn't stop watching.
Right. And I honestly think the reason he's in jail, like mostly for the murder for hire, like that wasn't the most surprising part to me.
No.
That was just like, oh yeah, I mean that makes sense.
But as soon as you think you've seen it all in this documentary, as soon as you're like, oh my God, there's meth and there's polygamy and there's the abuse of the tigers. And it wasn't abuse of, I'm going to beat the tigers. It wasn't anything
Right.
about that. But it's, overpopulating with the tigers. And then also when they, again, when their use is gone, then he gets rid of them, because you
Right.
got to feed those tigers so much
Oh my
food.
God, the feeding part.
Oh,
The
the
Walmart food truck.
come on, Kelsi. Tell our audience about that.
Okay, so basically they would get Joe Exotic's zoo would get these spoiled meat trucks from Walmart, and that's what they would feed the cats. But not only that, workers got first choice. So
Yep.
their workers would go and grab these spoiled meats, which is just so inhumane and like so dehumanizing.
Well, it's poverty, right? Because they're all living in poverty.
Right.
So that
So,
also is a huge, illustration of poverty in the country.
right. Um, but it's just so sad. And then towards the end there, when Carol Baskin's stripping him of everything he has, you see the meat truck get smaller and smaller, and you see he's like, I don't have enough resources to feed my cats. And it's like, so who's winning there, Carol? Not the tigers.
No, not the tigers.
And everyone says that.
And she just goes off on her her Miss Gulch bike, and she bikes with her flower crown through the place, and she goes through it really unscathed.
There's something to be said about a 50-year-old woman wearing a flower crown too. That's funny.
Something's wrong. So that's basically Tiger King. And can I say that it was so enjoyable to watch? No, I don't think a lot of it was enjoyable. Some of it was he runs for president.
Oh, yes. No. He does it backwards. He runs for president, and then he runs for governor.
Yes.
And he doesn't almost win, but he almost wins almost.
Well, then the other thing I got to say is that there's these music videos peppered throughout the documentary. And I have to tell you, those for me were the most entertaining of all.
Did you know?
I got to tell you.
Did you get the article? I don't remember who sent it to me. I think it was Nadine, that he isn't singing them. He's not singing those songs.
Oh, that's not even his voice?
No, you didn't hear about this?
No.
I'll have to send you the article.
Kelsi.
He got two guys to write these songs and produce these songs for him because it was supposed to be a part of, like, I don't know if it was supposed to be a part of his reality TV show, because that's a whole other thing too. And but it was supposed to be, he talked it up for some reason, and he got these guys to do it for free. Really? So he's just been like stealing from these two guys that have written, produced all of this.
Might I say, that's not shocking.
It's not shocking.
For Joe Exotica to steal is not shocking to me.
It's almost a little sad because I wanted that to be a part of his character.
Yeah.
I really did.
That he could sing some music.
Yeah. Can we talk about episode 2? Do you know what episode 2 brings up?
Let's go for it.
The murder / disappearance of Carol Baskin's husband.
Oh, yes.
I think that's episode 2.
The millionaire. So Carol runs a competing so-called, and I do quotes on this, sanctuary for the big cat. Because we're not sure if that's really a sanctuary. We're thinking no on that. Yeah. And so she, I don't think she's too fond of the husband.
No. I don't even remember why.
I don't either, because that's not important. The important part is the man disappears. And he just disappears. He just absolutely disappears. And but he was going to divorce her. That was the thing. And so he disappears. And so now the question that's out there in the public is, did Carol Baskin kill her husband and feed him to a hungry tiger?
Yes.
And the resounding answer from everyone that I've talked to is absolutely yes.
She totally did. And the only reason that maybe there's like a little sliver of doubt in my mind that she maybe or maybe not did do this, he said to someone quotes it in the documentary, that if he could pull this off, it'd be the greatest thing he ever did. So, like, maybe he did escape. Maybe he did disappear. But, like, come on.
Well, two things are for sure for me. He wanted to escape her for sure. So if he did that, he's right. That is wonderful that he got away with it.
Right.
But the other thing is, I think she's a little nutters. So, I mean, without a shadow of a doubt. So she, she could have absolutely done this.
We should have started this podcast with, hey, all you cool cats and kittens.
Yeah, we should have done that, shouldn't we have? We really missed the opportunity.
I'll edit it in.
What's wrong with us? So why do you think, Kels, that this, well, first of all, we're all in quarantine. So what do we have to do but watch some TV, right? So, I think that's also why this caught fire, why people are watching it. And then, in our culture, we've got this kind of TV culture in our country where we have this shared experience of watching something. So things are, trending, right? And then
Yeah.
plus we've got the social media, because I can't tell you how many memes I've been sent of Joe Exotic and Carol Baskin from you, from Nadine, from Kelly Eddy, from all the people have been sending me memes. So, and it's something we all can talk about. So that shared thing, I think, it's a kind of a reality TV type thing,
Oh yeah.
I think it's so popular.
Why do I think it's so popular?
Yeah.
It's just like you said, it's a shared thing. We can all, I think the producers of Tiger King are geniuses. I don't know if they planned on releasing it this early or if it's just like, oh, we're all in quarantine, whatever. Um, but I think it's just like you get so tied in by the humanity of it all and the show of it, because like they even said like Joe Exotic is a character. He's this, or a caricature of, just he's a showman. It's a modern day circus.
I mean, it really is.
He's a
Which brings
performer.
me to, as an animal lover, I didn't see a ton of, they didn't show, it's not hard to watch as far as with the animals necessarily, because they don't show bad things done to the animals or anything like that. But when you take a step back and you think, wow, how many big cats were, slaughtered because he couldn't feed them, or because
Mhm.
they had outlived their, his need for them. And so as an animal lover, you're watching it kind of going, oh, am I contributing to, this terrible thing
Yeah.
in a way? But in a way, I'm glad I watched it to know kind of what's going on too.
Oh
And,
yeah.
and in a way, yeah, it was a little bit entertaining, I have to say. And does that make me a bad person? I don't know. Does that make me out of the light? I don't know.
I don't think so. I think it's um I don't know. I don't think it makes you out of the light. I think it clues you in. It puts you in the know, because I would hate to be someone who hasn't watched it at this point. It's everywhere.
It really
Um
is.
but I wish at the end that they had put something of like how you can help these big cats, or how you can,
Why didn't they do that? I wonder, the producers of that show.
because they thought maybe they had the mention of PETA, and maybe they thought they had shown a great light on Carol Baskin and people were going to go help her, but it's like you got to be dumb to think that, because
Oh, I would not put a penny toward Carol Baskin.
no, she's just like the slightly lesser of two evils here.
Yeah, for sure. But
But
and stuff's still going on. They didn't say that, they'd shut this stuff down.
no, I think his place is still open. Jeff is running it now.
Yes. Why is this even a thing? Why is this even, because I know what you're talking about with the bears, because actually, as I was watching this thing, I flashed back to years ago. My family was up north and we went to that.
Oswald's.
Yes. And
Hmm.
then I started feeling bad about that. I was like, whoa. And I did feel kind of weird when I was there, when I was at Oswald's. I thought, ooh, what, like, this is, because I'm not really a zoo person or a circus person or any of that kind of stuff. I'm not a big, huge fan. I
Hmm.
think that there's a place for the zoo with the fact that, where do you see animals, I guess, but I don't know. I do have some problems with it, animals in captivity in a way.
Right. Right. Yeah,
They
I do.
belong in a small little cage. They know they belong in their own place. And me, I've been lucky enough to travel. So like my greatest thing was going on safari in South Africa.
That's amazing.
Right. And seeing all the animals in their own backyard. And, and we were the ones in the truck kind of, going through and watching them in their own habitat, which was absolutely beautiful. But not everybody can do that. Right.
Right.
So where do you get the appreciation of the big animals? I guess it's the zoo. Um, and I don't know enough about, I'm not as well versed in that to really talk about it. Maybe some other people who are listening have more of an idea of that, of, different zoos that they treat their animals and such, but it is hard to see them in cages.
Yeah, I think there's just like there's got to be a difference between zoo and sanctuary,
Yeah.
because what didn't get mentioned is Carol Baskin's Big Cat Rescue. In nowhere in that is it a sanctuary. Like
No.
it's not called a sanctuary; it's called a rescue.
Yeah.
Which
And
to me, that's a what?
they're still in cages, yeah?
Yeah, no, they are still in cages, and I mean, like, you're gonna have to if you have tigers in the United States, you're gonna have to put them in some kind of cage, you know. But
Some
um,
enclosed.
right, some kind of enclosure. But yeah, it's just like there's a difference between a zoo and a sanctuary, and I think we should be supporting sanctuaries and not zoos because I don't think in zoos they have enough room. I
You
mean,
know what
maybe
I got to tell you, in zoos, the ones that make me the absolute most sad, the monkeys.
really.
The gorillas. Oh my God, yes, because gorillas are so much like humans. And so I can see almost their faces going, get me out of here. Yeah. Gorillas make me the most sad in zoos.
Well, speaking to the monkey family, did you do you remember that part at the end where he was Joe Exotic was talking about his monkeys
Yes.
and how he had two of them in cages next to each other that never got to interact with each other, and
Yeah.
then he gave them to some place, maybe another zoo or something he was giving them, and they were put together and they just immediately started hugging, and
Yes.
he was like, did I deprive them of that for
And for Joe Exotic, yes.
right? But it's like then you see a little bit of his humanity and then you're like, do I feel for this guy? I just think the documentary does a good job of being like, well, he has his flaws, but he's also like he's got a good heart kinda, but he's also only in it for the money. So it's like,
Then can we talk about the guns?
oh my god.
Guns everywhere. And the guy is hopped up on meth and he's shooting his guns. That's a whole
Yeah,
nother podcast because you know how I am with guns. I'm not a gun person.
he's well, not only is he just shooting his guns, he's shooting things that are meant to be other people, like Carol Baskin.
Right, like a target of her.
And I don't care who you are, that's messed up.
It is. It is. Yeah, that was another part of the show that upset me a little bit was the all the guns. And
Yeah.
just willy-nilly shooting, you know?
And then
They're hopped up on drugs.
what happened to Travis?
Yeah, that was terrible. Should we say that?
It's kind of sad, but I mean, we're talking about it and we're obviously not keeping like we're spoiling things anyway. So
Yeah. He's the husband of Joe Exotic
right.
and he ends up like killing himself.
Yeah, it started out as a joke. He was pointing it at it's and what's the scariest part is not him shooting himself, but the person reacting to it is on camera.
Yes, I know. That was incredibly spooky to watch.
Yeah, he put his gun in front of this one guy's face and he's like, you know, I don't like that, like blah blah blah. And then he starts spitting out this one fact and he's like, well, you know, this gun won't shoot without a clip in it or whatever he says. And then he puts it to his head and bang, it's loaded and it's shot. And
But
but
that's the
he
thing
was
that I always think that way about guns. It's like that is nothing to be like that is a serious weapon. Like why would you be messing around like that? And especially, they were all on drugs.
oh yeah.
So I know he was hopped up on something.
Yeah, it's
So
ugh.
that was tragic. But the whole thing is it's definitely a tragedy,
Oh yeah.
the story.
There's
Mixed with, I guess, and I wouldn't even say mixed with comedy. I don't know. Because there were, I mean, those music videos are something else. I had to laugh at those. So there's a few little things in there, you know, but all in all, I would say it's a definite tragedy
yes. Well,
for
I wanna what?
for everyone involved.
Oh yeah. I wanted to hit on two more things before we wrap
Please
it
go
up, but
ahead.
um What do you think happened to the alligator enclosure with all of his records and reality TV footage?
Well, I think that was blown to bits on purpose.
By who? Because I
Hard.
have my theory.
What is your theory? It's hard to say. What is your
My
theory?
theory is that Joe Exotic did it to himself.
Yeah, that's what I thought at first too.
But what doesn't make sense to me is I don't think he would be crazy enough to kill innocent animals because it
Yeah,
killed alligators.
but I got to tell you, at that point, Kelsi, he was a little off the rail.
Oh, yeah.
So I think at that point he was so money hungry, and I think he was desperate, and I think he was so drugged out that because even the part where the mom tiger is birthing those little baby tigers, and he's taking those little tigers away from the mom.
Ugh.
Remember? Like that was about during that time. So he was really kind of off the rails at that point. So I think he definitely could have done it to himself without even a care about the animals at that point.
Yeah, it was just so easy for him to blame it on Carol's people, you know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But another crazy part that kind of gets overlooked is the part where Joe is filming something in a tiger enclosure and one of the tigers starts going for his shoe.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
I do. And then later they said maybe somebody put something on the shoe that the tiger would want to eat.
Yes, which
And I do believe Carol Baskin was blamed for that as well.
oh yeah. But that was at the point where his whole staff hated him. So he thought it was probably someone on staff too.
Oh, Kelsi. I can't believe that that we're all watching this show, I gotta say, but it really has brought us together in the weirdest way.
It's so entertaining, and I would recommend people watch it unless if you're offended by F-bombs, maybe don't watch it.
Oh, it's got a lot of those, my friends. A lot. It's got a lot of language in it. It's not really family friendly, I would say.
No.
No.
Also, you basically just watch the whole thing when you listen to us talk about it. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, we give you a spoiler alert, so I don't feel all that bad about it.
right, but we didn't even get into we might, you know, we might have to do a part 2. We shouldn't, but we might, because we didn't even get into the corruption that is Jeff.
No, we didn't, did we?
Or James, I think is the other guy's name.
There's so many facets to this program.
I know.
You can't even cover it all, or this podcast would be like 5.5 hours long. And we don't want to do that to people.
No, we don't.
No.
But I would recommend this if you like documentaries and you like a good show.
And kind of a reality TV feel.
Yes. Because they started shooting in like 2015, I think.
Yes, they did.
And the footage from the reality TV show that they never got because it was blown up was shot before that.
Yes.
So this has been a work in the making.
Well, I got to say, Kelsi, keep the memes coming because they're cracking me up during quarantine.
Oh, I will. People are, one little thing for the listeners out there. People are having themed dinners. I'm on an app called TikTok, which is basically like Vine was back in the day, for all you people that know. If you don't know what it is, it's basically just short videos that people record and they try to be comedians, and that's fine. But people have been having themed dinners because it's quarantine and what else are you going to do? And they are having Tiger King themed dinners, and people are showing up as Joe Exotic, of course within the family because we're quarantining, and it's
right.
But Joe Exotic, Carol Baskin, it's
the tigers.
It's amazing. So the memes are great.
Well, I gotta say, I'm glad we did talk about this, Kelsi, because it is sweeping the nation.
Yes.
And I gotta say, Jordan Herron was correct.
What did he say about it?
He said that I had to watch it.
Oh, I didn't know if he had any like profound.
Oh no, I mean, well, he's very profound, but
I know.
Said, oh, this is just a train wreck in the making, man. This is just something you got to see, and then we got to talk about it. And I've had so many conversations about it, but I'm glad we had this conversation today.
Me too.
And although maybe this isn't completely in the light, it's not the most positive thing we've ever talked about on the podcast. I think that sometimes we have to lighten the mood, Kelsi.
Me too.
In these dark times, it's important for us to use anything we can to stay in the light. We'll see you next time.